I'm Luna Aura, sex priestess, psychedelic witch, here to awaken your soul, seduce your mind, and crack open the ancient memory pulsing in your body of magic, truth, and sacred rebellion. Welcome to the Psychedelic Witch, where every word is a spell, truth is the wildest medicine, and magic is your birthright. Enter if you're ready to remember. I need to tell you something that's going to sting like holy fire. Something that every woman in this circle has done. Something so ancient, so mystical, so deeply woven into our feminine DNA that we think it's love, when it's actually sort of spiritual possession. You ready for this transmission? Because I'm about to call out the biggest lie we tell ourselves about love, sisters. We fall in love with a man's potential. Not who he is, not the man showing up in your bed, in your kitchen, in your life every single day. We fall in love with the ghost of who he could become. And sisters, that ghost is bleeding us dry. Let me paint you a picture, beloved. You meet him and your psychic womb starts tingling because you can feel it. The king buried under his boy energy. The god hiding behind his trauma responses. The warrior sleeping inside the victim story. You don't just see him. You see his timeline. You see the version of him that exists in some parallel universe where he's done his healing, claimed his power, and shows up like the divine masculine you know he can be. And then, what do? We fall in love with that vision. We start dating his higher self while his lower self is the one actually in the relationship with us. We're making love to his potential while his reality is mediocre at best, disappointing at worst. I've been there, sister. Lying in bed next to a man, feeling like I was holding space for the most magnificent being, while he was scrolling through his phone, emotionally unavailable and completely unaware of the ceremony I was creating just by loving him. We become unpaid therapists, spiritual midwives, emotional doulas for grown men who haven't even asked for transformation, and we call it love. But it's not love, sister. It's protection. It's projection. It's fantasy. It's spiritual bypassing dressed up in feminine devotion. And here's the thing they don't tell you about being a seer, a priestess, a witch, an intuitive woman. Our gift is that we can feel the divine in every fucking one. We can see the Buddha nature in the narcissist. We can feel the wounded child in the grown man who's hurting us, abusing us literally. But the shadow side of this gift, we love everyone's potential more than we love our own reality. We abandon our needs to wait for his growth. We betray our standards to protect his feelings. We give unconditional love to a man who hasn't even chosen himself yet. And then we wonder why we're exhausted, why we feel like we're carrying the relationship, why we're always hoping instead of receiving. Sister, let me tell you something that's going to save you years of heartbreak. Potential is not a person. It's a projection. It's the painting your intuitive heart creates when your standards are too generous and your boundaries are too porous. You're not in love with him. You're in love with your own imagination, wearing his face. You're high on his almost while starving on his not yet. I want to tell you what this pattern cost me. What it's cost every woman I've held in ceremony who's finally ready to face this truth. When you love a man's potential, you give your magic to someone who doesn't even see it. You build your future on someone else's maybes. You become a spiritual cheerleader instead of a beloved. You sacrifice your present for a future that may never come. You become the woman who's always explaining him to your friends. Oh, but you don't understand. He's actually really deep. He just doesn't show it now. He's been through so much. He has so much potential. He's been through so much trauma. Honey, if you're explaining him, you're not enjoying him. If you're making excuses for his behavior, you're not being loved by his actions. If you're waiting for him to become who you know he can be, you're not being met by who he actually is. Sisters, I've taken a vow, and I want you to consider taking one with me. I do not love men for their potential anymore. I don't build homes in their future when they haven't even unpacked their presence. I don't worship the men they could be. I honor the men they're showing me right now. Because real love is not psychic reading. It's not a therapy session. It's not a spiritual intervention. It's a devotion matched in the present moment. I want to be met, not managed, held, not handled, witnessed, not waited on. I want the man who lives his values when no one's watching, the one who doesn't just speak of consciousness but embodies it, the one who keeps his word not to impress me, but because his integrity is his spiritual practice. And to the men listening, because I know you are, let me be clear, crystal clear. We are not angry because you failed to become our fantasy. We are heartbroken because you showed us glimpses of your divinity, promises, and then refused to rise into it. We are not here to raise you. We are not here to fix you. We are not here to love you into consciousness. We are here to receive you, fully formed, fully present, fully responsible for your inner world. We don't need you to be perfect. We need you to be fucking real. We need you to be safe. We need you to be self-led, to be conscious enough to love a woman who sees 10 lifetimes when she looks into your eyes, and steady enough to hold her when she shows you the mirror of your soul. To all my priestesses, witches, empaths, healers, and wild women listening, your love is sacred. Your vision is powerful. Your heart is holy. But your heart is not a rehabilitation center for spiritual lazy men. Save your softness for the one who's already becoming. Save your sensuality for the one who leads himself in devotion. Save your soul for the man who has earned the right to walk beside your fire. This is the age of sacred union, of divine polarity, of relationships built not on potential, but on presence. Because love that begins with projection will always end in grief. And we are not grieving ghosts anymore. We are queens, we are priestesses, we are witches, we are creators, and we deserve nothing less than love that lives in truth, not fantasy. So, here's your sacred homework, my sister. Let's talk about the potential audit. Sit with your womb and ask her, where am I loving potential instead of presence? Write down every relationship where you're hoping instead of receiving. Every situation where you're explaining instead of enjoying. Every connection where you're giving your all to someone's maybe. And this is the reality check ritual. For the next 30 days, only respond to what is. Not what could be, not what might happen if he heals or grows or changes. What is he showing you right now? How is he meeting you today? What evidence, actual evidence, are you receiving of his devotion right now? Write your non-negotiables. This is important. This is the sacred standard setting. Not your wish list for his potential, but your requirements for his presence. What does devotion look like in action? What does consciousness look like in behavior? What does love look like in evidence? And this is the closing invocation for you, sister. You are not asking for too much when you ask to be met. You are not being unrealistic when you want devotion that matches your own. You are not being too spiritual when you require consciousness in your connection. Stop settling for potential. Stop dating possibilities. Stop loving ghosts. You are a living fucking goddess, and you deserve a love that worships at the altar of your reality, not the fantasy of what you could transform into him. The right man won't need to be convinced of your worth. The conscious man won't need to be taught how to show up. The divine masculine won't require your light to remember his own. He'll meet you in the temple of presence, not in the casino of potential. May you love yourself enough to require real love. May you honor your vision enough to save it for someone who sees it too. May you trust your worth enough to stop accepting less than devotion. With serpent wisdom and womb fire, with fierce love and sacred standards. I am Luna Aura, your sister, and you are worthy of love that lives in truth. If something was activated in you listening to this, please join the sisters. Join the Sex Magic School of Isis and Lilith. There is a free ebook. There are many books, many free YouTube videos. Start exploring the real temple of remembrance of the true knowledge of sex magic and sacred sexuality. The true alchemized, pure way that we are meant to live as human beings. The medicine of truth is within you. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you to the Great Mother, source of all life and love. This is Luna Aura, your sex priestess and psychedelic witch. Until next time, walk in truth, walk in beauty, stay devoted to your magic, and remember, you are sacred. Stay free.